In his 108-minute flight in 1961, the Soviet cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin reached a peak altitude of 327 kilometers. Gagarin experienced the feeling of weightlessness and saw the curvature of Earth firsthand, and he was named the first human to ever be in space. But was he actually in space? I mean, did he cross the mysterious boundary between Earth's atmosphere and space? It has been more than half a century since Gagarin's historic journey, but there is still no universal accepted definition of where space begins. Does space begin where Earth's atmosphere ends? This seems sensible, except that Earth's atmosphere extends some 10,000 kilometers above the planet. That would exclude Gagarin's flight and even the International Space Station, which orbits around the Earth at only 400 kilometers high. The ISS orbits at this altitude because it's easier to send resupply missions, as it is economically cheaper to get in the low Earth orbit, where the space station orbits. But as I told you, the Earth's atmosphere goes even above the space station. There's an air drag caused due to it, due to which the space station loses its velocity and has to fire its engine to come back to its orbit every single time it loses altitude. This video shows what the astronauts experience while the ISS is recorrecting its orbit. Astronauts are actually being stationary. The ISS itself is moving because of the acceleration caused due to the firing of boosters for the recorrection of the orbit. Believe it or not, this seemingly simple question does not have an easy answer. Pinning down the size of our atmosphere is kind of difficult because it grows progressively thinner as the altitude increases. It's made up of 5 distinct layers: the troposphere, stratosphere, the mesosphere, the thermosphere, and the exosphere. The first official definition of space came from the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics, the predecessor of NASA, who decided on the point where atmospheric pressure was less than 1 pound per square foot. Any NASA pilot or astronaut who crossed this altitude is awarded with the astronaut wings. Shortly after the definition, aerospace engineer Theodor von Karman calculated that above an altitude of 100 kilometers, the atmosphere would be so thin that an aircraft would need to be traveling at orbital velocity to derive any lift. This altitude was later adopted as the common line by the World Air Sports Federation. So, there isn't a final answer to where space begins. This was it for today. Please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel for all the future videos. Click on the thumbnails to watch my previous videos. And as always, stay curious, stay awesome.